takes character to answer those questions after a heartbreaking end to the season. You'll notice that for the President's Trophy winners, it has not been the lead up to winning the Stanley Cup. You have to go all the way back to 2012-13 and the Chicago Blackhawks.
It wasn't that a shortened season?
It was.
So, I mean, it's not even a full 82-game schedule, and they won the President's Trophy that year.
So, the New York Rangers, their season is cut short. They wanted to follow in the footsteps of the 94 team that won the Cup, and there were a lot of things that lined up. But in the end, when I was watching alongside you guys, I got the sense that perhaps the Rangers maxed out. They were forced to make mistakes because perhaps Florida was the better team.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to point out mistakes and say Rangers should have done this differently. They should have managed the puck better. They should have turned the puck over. Like, yes, of course, but the game is about mistakes and trying to managing your mistakes. And I think that's what we saw is the Rangers, just couldn't quite break through what Florida was doing to them. And that goes with them trying to score goals, the way Florida was defending. That also goes with the Rangers giving up chances because they turned the puck over, Reader. It's two sides of the same coin. Florida making the Rangers do things that they wish they were able to do better or not do at all because of the decision they're making. And that's why the Panthers were the better team in this series. That's why they won.
Yeah, Florida made mistakes. They were just able to recover from some of their mistakes and didn't allow the goals to go in. I mean, the Rangers are a very good team. You don't win a President's Trophy and best team in the regular season. They lost 4 games, or the 4 games by 1 goal. The 6 games in this series, 5 of them were 1-goal games. Like that, they're that close. So what's the difference? They're going to have to come back and determine, and this is going to be management's job, Chris Drury and coaches, and say, what do we need to do to be able to beat the Florida Panthers? Because the Florida Panthers are now the top team in the East. Second year in a row, they're going to the Stanley Cup final representing the East. How do we beat that team? It's a copycat league. How do we beat that team? Yes, we do a lot of good things, but what do we need to do more? What do we need to do to get ourselves to win that 4th game? And that's the challenge every year. It's how can we improve our team to get there? And you don't realize that you're not there until you hit the team that beats you and you're like, oh, we are not there. And watching that series, it was pretty obvious that the New York Rangers are not there. And then they're not the only team.
They're not alone.
They're not alone because this was a dominant forechecking, grind it out, slow it down, drag you into a really tough battle style of hockey. And it wasn't I wouldn't say overly physical to watch. It wasn't overly intimidating by either team. It was just a very tough way to play. Constantly, and we talk about it all the time. Rangers had a great season. They should be very proud of what they did.
I'll be curious to see in the next couple of days. We get that injury report.
Oh, yes.
And then we'll talk about it tonight, and I get that. But, what's going on with Fox and Trocheck's hand? And, the playoffs are tough, and to go through it deep, you need to have good health. We'll see what happens there. But the one thing the Rangers can go into next year with and can look back at this playoff with and say, you know what? We got a goalie.
Oh, yeah, you do.
We got a guy that is more than capable of helping us go all the way to win a Stanley Cup. I know they didn't get there now, but not because Igor Shesterkin wasn't up to the challenge. He was spectacularly good. And having great goaltending is not a crime. You're allowed to have great goalies on your team and build your team around that. And I think Shesterkin, with what he showed the second half of the season, working with Jonathan Quick, who'll be back a little bit, was just incredible. What was interesting was that Bob was almost nearly as good. That was the difference, where Shesterkin was miles better than Freddie Anderson. He wasn't miles better than Bobrovsky. That was the first series where the goaltender on the other side was almost the equal of Shesterkin. Shesterkin spectacular, but Bob was pretty darn good as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, your 1-goal games, the difference is maybe a power play, the one shot here or there. Goaltending, not a problem for the New York Rangers, and not a lot of problems for the New York Rangers at all. But very few teams have great goaltending.
Right.
There's a lot of good
that
goalies
they can
out there.
count on year after year.
That's right. Very few teams have great goaltending, and I would say we just watched the series with 2 of the best.
Sergei Bobrovsky in closeout games this spring, 3-0, GAA just over 1, .962 save percentage. Amazing stuff for the Florida Panthers netminder.